Good morning. There's a famous minhag which is brought down for the month of Elul. We're going to mention it and we're going to clarify it. The minhag is brought down that during the month of Elul, a person could and should check their Tefilin and check their Mezuzot. So let's understand first the basic requirement of when and where and how we need to check our Tefilin and Mezuzot, and then see how that tradition, that minhag, falls in place. The Halacha is as follows. The Rambam writes, it's a big discussion in the Talmud, between the Talmud Yerushalmi and other Midrashim and other Gemarot, how often, if at all, one needs to check their Tefillin. We'll start first with Tefillin. And the Halacha L'Maaseh is, the Rambam and many of the Rishonim, as well as the Shulchan Aruch says, if you purchased Tefillin, or if you wrote them yourself, and you know that they were very, very properly done, and they were checked before they were put in the houses, in the boxes, then one never needs to check Tefillin. The Lashon of the Rambam, the terminology of the Rambam is, even for 50 years. Sorry, that's the Lashon of the Orchot Chaim. Even for 50 years long, you can wear the same Tefillin. As was brought down from the Talmud, that Hillel HaZaken, Bet Shammai, Bet Hillel himself, guess whose Tefillin he wore? He wore his maternal grandfather's tefillin. So we're talking, whoa. That was his proof. When everyone was arguing, he said, I wear my grandfather's tefillin. So that means tefillin, even though they are old, they can be used. That is the halacha. Again, the Shulchan Aruch, he writes, and I'll quote to you in Siman Lametet 39, the last halacha Yud. He says, tefillin she'uchziku bekashrut. Tefillin that have a hazakah. They, in every way and shape, should be kosher. Okay? Enam tzrichim bedika. They don't need to be checked. Le'olam ever. Ve'im eno manihan ela liprakim tzrichim bedika pa'amayim b'shavua. If a person does not wear his tefillin on a constant basis, some say that it has to be at least once a week. Others say it has to be a minimum of once a month. But if a person does not wear the tefillin constantly, then every two times every 7 years, just like a mezuzah, tefillin have to be checked. This is the raw halacha. This everyone agrees on, that the basic halacha is that tefillin do not need to be checked if they were done properly and bought properly, and mezuzot need to be checked twice every 7 years. So first the question is, what's the difference between the mezuzah and tefillin? This one's parchment, that's one parchment, this one's in a box, this one's in a box. What's the difference? The difference is as weird as it sounds, mezuzot are in a box and they're stationary and they are there all the time. There's no change being done. The Rishonim bring down that since the tefillin are put on us, taken off, the heat, the cold, the moving them around, believe it or not, that maintains the health of the parchment, so to say, the longevity of the parchment. Again, parchment's not paper. Parchment is cow hide. It's skin. Okay? So therefore, it's not treated the same way as paper is. So mezuzot, since are always stationary, twice every 7 years. Tefillin that are constantly used, they don't need to be. This is the raw halacha. However, the Magen Avraham, the Knesset Hagdolah, they write, even though that's the halacha, but we've checked so many tefillin over the years, and we've found many mistakes, many even which disqualify the tefillin, and that would constitute not only missing a mitzvah, but reciting a bracha levatala, mentioning Hashem's name in vain. And therefore, they say, it is encouraged to check your tefillin. Again, even with that halacha, everyone nowadays agrees. Even if you bought tefillin, I can't say everybody. No, never everyone agrees, right? Most agree that even nowadays, when you buy tefillin from a Yeresh Shamayim, a Sofer Stam, and had the computer check and everything, nevertheless, a person should, within the either year or couple years that follow that purchase of the tefillin, one should check tefillin. I'll give you a personal example. It really pains me to say it. It hurts me dearly. That my own bar mitzvah tefillin, we checked them, I feel like crying saying this. We checked them, I don't remember if it was 5 or 7 years after my bar mitzvah. And when we checked them, there was a psul that it's not something that happened with time. It was bought that way. So it was originally that way. So Chavadi Yosef, he has an avrech came to him crying, telling him, years I was wearing tefillin and I was making a bracha levatala and you weren't even wearing the tefillin. So he answered him that teshuvah during Elul and Yom Kippur can rectify for that. Because a person had good intention. He had a responsible intention. He didn't go buy $200, $300 tefillin, try to cheap out. My tefillin for my bar mitzvah were $1,000. Nowadays, that's pretty normal, right? But we're talking not that long ago, right? Over a decade. But nevertheless, it could happen, no matter who. And we bought from a Yiddish Shamayim, we really did. It doesn't matter who you buy from, how you buy, how little or how much you pay. It's very important to at least once check your tefillin. This is the basic halacha. You wear it all the time, check it once. You don't wear it all the time, twice every 7 years. Now, the minhag of checking, there are those, Chasidim Anshe Ma'aseh, that they check their tefillin every Elul, every year. Okay? And there are those that even pull down their mezuzot every Elul, every year. This number one is not considered a waste of money if it costs you to bring to the sofer. It's a hidur mitzvah, it's beautifying, it's making sure you're fulfilling it, so it's definitely permitted. I will give a warning after speaking to many sofrim, checking your tefillin every year is kind of not too healthy for the tefillin, because every time they cut it open and then they have to renovate it, as we say, and put them back together, it's not too good. However, there are those sofrim that could check them every 12 months and still keep the longevity of the tefillin. So now you're going to ask why. So many of us, those of us that have hair still, sometimes come and have gel in the hair, or the hair is wet after a shower, and that ruins the tefillin. Not only does it ruin the box from the outside, the bottom part, as we've seen, but the inside, the tefillin, the parchments, they do get ruined very, very quickly. So it's very important to make sure to always either be bald, I'm joking, or make sure you do not have wet hair or gelled hair. Take a shower is a chiyuv. It's an obligation. Okay, so it's very important. Again, when it comes to mezuzot twice every 7 years. Bezat Hashem HaKadosh Baruch Hu will protect us with our tefillin and mezuzot, that they will be kosher and they will be there and protect us. And again, I'll end off with one quick thing. I'm sorry I'm prolonging it, but there's a famous story with the Gaon Mivilna that in the town, he was traveling and he came to a motel, and it was owned by a Jewish man. However, all of a sudden, he saw everyone started getting very scared because one Gentile ruler or governor or not a nice individual, ruthless man, was coming, and everyone got very, very scared. He's coming, he's staying for free, he's taking things, he's breaking things, not a pleasant case. And whenever a Jew would stand up to him, he would be beaten. So they came, and this Gentile came, and he told the owner of the motel, empty out the whole motel now, I don't care who's here, me and my people are staying here. He told him, listen, there's one room, there's one tzaddik, the Gaon Mivilna that's there, don't bother him, take all the other rooms. The Gentile's like, leave me alone, I'm going to do whatever I want. He walks into the room, he sees the Gaon Mivilna sitting down, learning Torah, wearing his tefillin. The Gaon Mivilna was known to wear his tefillin all day. And as soon as the Gentile looked at the Gaon Mivilna, he got scared, petrified, and he ran away from the motel. Everyone asked, well, what's going on? I've approached Goyim with my tefillin on, and they're not scared. Answered the Gaon Mivilna, you might only be wearing the tefillin on your head. However, my tefillin, I am wearing them in my head, which is a play on the words the Talmud speaks about when it's the chiyuv of wearing tefillin. It's tefillin shebarosh, tefillin that are in our head, which means that we're putting our tefillin opposite our brain and opposite our heart. We're not just putting it there, mitzvat anashim milumeda, just out of routine. We're putting it on there to impress what it says in our tefillin on our hearts, which overcome and take care of our lust and desires, and opposite our brain, which is our rational thinking, B'ezrat Hashem. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give us the merit this Elul with our tefillin, with our mezuzot, our slichot, and our tefillot, B'ezrat Hashem. This evening, Shabbat.